Hello guys, am I audible? Okay, so good evening everyone. How are you guys doing? My next is audio plus video is equals to clear. Clear with the life? Very good. So first of all guys, the quick question, is there any echo? Is my voice clear? Everything is fine? Right? Right? Has my voice any echo? Right. Everything is fit and fine except me. See, my belly is getting out. Ah, mic is looking good, yes. So mic is good. So uh, I had already a mic, but last time I guess there was some issue with the mic, so I got a new mic. So guys, should we start now? Everyone excited, guys? Everyone, yes or no? Whose name is this data science course? Naam change kar lo, bhai. Just keep some name, okay? Everyone, Vandana, okay, great Vandana. Nice to meet you here. So guys, we will start. We will start. So today I am like 2-3 minutes because I just want to check that everyone has joined. There is no any message of me on WhatsApp that sir I am not able to join. Please make me join and like that sort of thing. Okay, very good, very good. Vandana says thank you sir. You seems more excited than us. Yes, this is something on my own starting something, right? I have been teaching and doing things at a lot of places. I have taught like around 35-40 batches, but this is the first time I am starting something on my own, and that's why I am more excited than you guys, right? Right. Okay, okay, everyone wants their batch, the first batch, to be very special, right? And that's why I also want the same, right? Okay, right, right, right. So let's start. Right, right. So first of all, I will just share my screen and then we will start. One thing, guys, just a request. Before the start of any class, I will request everyone, right, here that they will remind me, sir, please start the recording. Right. I connected to the backend team, right? Just to make the recording, by default, they are saying, sir, if I will do everything for you, then what will you do? And I was like, okay, theek hai. What can I say now? Okay, but anyway, the recording has been started. So I'll just share my screen and then we will start with our today's agenda. So let's start. Before starting, do you guys have any questions to ask? Anyone has any questions to ask? You guys go ahead and you can ask as well. Right. Any questions that you have to ask here? Quickly. Okay. Any questions? Very good. Then let's start. Let's start. So I will just share my screen and then we will start. Oh, right. So let's start. So now I'm going to share my screen. So is my screen visible, everyone? Yes or no? Is my screen visible? Quickly. Very good. Very good. Okay. Okay, guys. So let's start now. Actually, I want not getting the things that I want. Just a second, guys. Just a second. This is the first class. It is possible that right, right, right. This is the first class, so that's why. Uh, okay, now is it looking good? Everything, right? Everything looking good? Yes. Is any background voices coming now? Right, right. Everything fine now? This is the first class, that's why there will be some problem for everyone. Okay, very good. Now it is clear for everyone. So now as I will share my screen and then we will start with few things. So is my screen visible now? Right? Okay. First thing, guys, you have to why it is just a second. I guess I have to log in with some other. I just want to see the chat constantly, and that's what the problem it is. I'm not able to see the chats. If I just share the screen, expand preview doesn't help. Expand preview. Oh, don't worry about that. I will try to figure it out. Just a second, guys. Quickly, just a second. I'm starting. Okay. Anyway, leave it, guys. So basically, I will be checking out the checking out the chat regularly. So not a problem. Okay. So let's start. Let's start now. I was thinking to have a regular chat and do check out if you guys have any comment, and that's why I was trying to figure it out that. But anyway, let's start now. Right. The first thing already we have, we already know that today is the first class of our advanced certification in data science and artificial intelligence. So we will start with today's first class. So today's agenda would be to have introduction, right, right, to programming and basics of Python, right, programming and basics of Python. So we will start with this, right? Obviously, this is the start today, so you might have, might face some problem in just logging in and something like that. But don't worry about that. As we move ahead with the process, then it will be more like a streamlined thing, right? So let's start, guys. Right. First thing, I will talk about what are the do's and don'ts in the course, and then slowly I will move ahead. Right. So do's and don'ts in the course. First thing that is very important, right? You might have learned few things here and there, right, from various resources, various online coaching, something like that. But still you have joined, right? So never ignore any topic. Never ignore stating that I already know this, because you never know, right, what new things are coming up. So please don't do that. This is the first thing. Never do, right? Right. Right. Second thing, right? Whatever right, code, you have to parallelly code it. Parallelly code it, right? So parallelly, if you code, then only you will learn it, right? Third thing that is very important. Let me ask you a very simple question, right? Very simple question. The question is, right? Let's say I am teaching you, right? Right. What is something different in what I am teaching and whatever there is on YouTube? Right. Already a lot of things are present out there. Right. But then why are you, studying something here? Why you have joined this course? Right. Have you ever thought about it? Why? Why do you think, guys? What is my role? Right. This question is from everyone. Right. 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 This question is for everyone. What is my role? Right. How I am going to impact, right, in your knowledge or in your career? What do you think, guys? Right. Everyone. Right. Please answer it. Everyone has to answer this quickly. Right. Sajal says by giving real life applications. What about other people? Other people are sleeping. Right. 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 Logic building will be more case studies, industrial use case, right, to get deep knowledge. But what's my role? You can get it from anywhere, right? Right. See, the first agenda of this class is going to be a discussion mode, right? This is going to be a discussion class. It will never be one way. It will never be one way, right? The whole idea of CareerCraft is just only due to one reason. Wherever I have taught, it was never two way. It was only one way. The point I'm trying to make that please be active in the class, right, right. Please be active in the class. If you guys are not active, I will just lose my interest and then just stop teaching. Right? That's the simple thing that I will never want. Right? I want you guys to learn things. Right? First 1 week, 2 week, it might be problem in establishing everything. Right? But as soon as you start in the peak, right? Please, and try to make sure that participate in the discussion. And the last thing, be punctual. Right? This punctuality thing will be like both way. Right? I will be also punctual in the classes, right? But obviously in the start, so today we are already 20 minutes late, right? Understood? Because this is the first class, I have to also figure it out, right? But the point is, try to be very punctual in the class. Always be punctual, because if you become punctual, you will understand everything. Don't be, right? Right. Don't think that recording is already there. I will just watch the recording and understand everything. That is not going to help. If you think that is going to help, then I am so sorry, it is not going to help. You have given money to me in free. That's the whole understanding. Next, always try to explore things on your own as well. Right. I will be giving you case studies, but that's not the end of the world. Right. Right. That's not the end of the world. Please try to actually make sure that you learn a lot of things on your own as well. Try to see what you can do, what you can do. You, in fact, you can just share me, sir, you have taught this thing this way, but I think this is the correct way. I will be more than happy to accept that. But please do that. Right. Next thing, sometimes I might be very slow. The reason being there are a lot of students, and that's why I have kept this 6 to 8 months window that no one says me that please be fast, please cover this. Right. Right. No one is going to command me that please be very fast. No. There's a reason why I have kept 6 to 8 months of this window, because I want to complete everything in depth. I want to teach one batch where I can teach everything. And you can just consider that you guys are those people where I am going to teach everything, whatever I find to be taught. That's the understanding. Right. One last thing, always ask the question why. This I have been telling to everyone, whoever I meet, please do ask the question why. Always ask the question why. So that would be all gyan. Right. Further, moving ahead, I will be giving a lot of gyan. Regarding guest lecture, I am planning after 2-3 weeks there will be one guest lecture, right, from industry. One of the person will be coming and talking about how they are working in the data science industry, how they came to data science industry, and all of those things. Right. So that would be the idea. Right. So should we start now, guys? Everyone excited? Should we start now? Quickly, बताओ सभी कोई right, 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 right. Very good, very good. So let's start, guys. Let's start. First thing, I guess voice is clear, video is clear. The text I am writing, you guys are able to see it. So what is going to be the agenda of today's class? Right. The agenda of today's class would be, what is a programming language? We are going to see programming language. What is programming language? Right. What is programming language? This is the first thing. We'll start with this. Why do we need it? So why and how we are going to learn it. This is the first thing. Second thing, we are going to understand why Python. So we'll start with this why Python. Then we are going to start with syntax of Python. So we'll start with the basic syntax of Python. Right. Right. And then slowly, if you guys are interested till then also I will cover operators. So we'll start with Python operators. So this is my plan for today, right? So let's see how much I am able to complete. In the last, I am going to ask interview questions with whatever topic that we have studied. Some interview questions, right? Plus, first interview questions, second extra mile questions. So we also will be covering what are some extra miles questions that you guys should see and look after in your free time on the internet or something like that, right? So that would be the idea, right? So let's start, everyone, right? So first of all, what is a programming language? So we'll start with programming language. Programming language. So anyone has any idea what is a programming language? Quickly, what is a programming language? Anyone? Right. Quickly, everyone, what is a programming language? Everyone speak up. What is a programming language? Quickly. Right. Right. What is a programming language? Right. So let's say if I am speaking up. So let's say here we have, here I am standing, right? Here I am standing. I am speaking something, right? Now you are there. So let's say Tushar. Tushar is there, right? Right. Tushar is there, right? He is understanding everything, whatever I am speaking now, right? Why he is understanding? A very simple reason, right? A very simple reason, because I am speaking English. Tushar knows English, and that's why he is understanding. How many of you have watched Bahubali movie? Bahubali movie, right? Everyone has watched Bahubali movie? Now answer me what I am speaking. What is the meaning of this? I spoke something. Can you answer this? What I spoke? Right, right. Do you guys remember this? Right. Have you seen this somewhere? Right, right. Do you guys remember this? Right. So if you remember, right, in Bahubali movie, there was this guy who used to speak ding dun dun, something like that, and we didn't understood. Right, right. Kalike, very good. Kalike. Kalike was there. We didn't understood because we didn't knew the language. Similarly, if I speak something Marathi, let's say Tushar is not Marathi, he will not understand. Let's say I will ask Tushar, Tushar, तुम्ही कसे आहात? Right. Tushar will not able to understand what he is speaking up. Right. Let's say Marathi. He will not understand because of a very simple reason that whatever I am speaking up, right, right, and Tushar is hearing something because we have this common consensus that I speak English, he understands English, and that's how he is understanding. And this is happening in a real world environment. In a real world environment. Now comes the best part. Very good. Very good. Till here, not a problem. But let's say there is a computer machine. Let's say there is a computer machine. So this is a computer, and let's say you want 2 into 368 calculation. So will you say, hey computer baby, can you do this calculation 2 into 368? What do you think? Will computer do this? Will machine do this? Will machine do this? Do you think, guys? Right, right. No, it will not be able to do. Right. It will not be able to do. Right, right, right. Very simple reason why. The way you are speaking up, computer doesn't understand that particular language. Then what will happen now? What will happen now? So there comes something. Let's say here we have computer. Let's say here you are here. Maybe this time I will take the name of Heath. Heath is there with a big mustache. So Heath is here. Let's say Heath is here. Now, interesting thing. Heath spoke something, but computer will not understand. Then what will happen? Then comes in between some translator, some translator, some translator, some translator, translator. Who is this translator? You don't need to worry about that. I will be talking about this translator in detail. No need to worry about that. But now what will happen? This translator understands English, So he will take English from it, translates to something that is also called as machine language, and transfers to computer, and computer will show you output life jingalala. This is your output. This will happen now. Now this particular English language to machine language, there comes a concept called programming language. Right? What is this programming language? Then we'll connect the dot. So what is programming language? If someone asks you, what is programming language? Right? A programming language, right? A programming language, right, is a formal language, right, right, for creating instructions, instruction, instructions for a computer to follow, for a computer to follow. Very good, not a problem. So programming language is a formal language for creating instructions for a computer to follow. That's the understanding. So where does it fit? Right. So you can simply understand the act of understanding English to transferring into a machine language is programming language. I will come to more detail to it, but this is a simple understanding. But now you will be understanding, you will be thinking, right? Okay, I understood. I got a sense that I am interacting with someone. He knows English, I know English, and that's why we both are able to understand. Now comes the computer programming language. I will be saying something, computer will be understanding something with an interface that is called as programming language. Very good. Not a problem. Now comes two questions. First, why programming language? And how? This is the first question. The second question is how. Right? Is there any method to learn programming language? Right. I will answer both of the question. First one, why do we need to learn programming language? Right. So before that, if I ask you, why did you learn English language or Hindi language, what would be your answer? Your answer would be, right? Your answer would be to survive in this world. Similarly, if I have to answer, why do you need to learn computer programming language? Again, the answer will be same, to survive in the world. Right? पेट के लिए कुछ भी करना पड़ता है. So because in the IT, if you are working, you need to know programming language. That's it. So interaction with computers. Interaction with computers. So if you want to interact with computer, but now you will ask me what I will do by interaction with computer? To develop software programs. Software programs. So you need to know programming language. Have you ever thought of how a mobile chip works? Right? Embedded device. Embedded device. Some sort of programming has been done. Right? Robotics. Right? Right. Chat GPT. The buzzword town, right? Buzzword in the town, right? Chat GPT. You need to know it, right? To know these things, you need programming language. In a very short and simple word, if you have to survive in this world with your family, right, you need to know programming language if you are working in IT. Right. Now, next question is how? How are we going to learn? Right. Right. Let's say Komal is there. When Komal was born, she was a cute baby. First thing she spoke was ma, or let's say mummy. Very good. Right. Very good. Then after that, she went to school, kindergarten, right? There she learned alphabets. alphabets, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Then she learned words, right? After that, grammar, right? Tenses, then sentences. She was able to make the sentence. This is the understanding. Similarly, also Python. Similar to this programming language, we are going to start with very basics. We are going to start with syntax first. We are going to see the data types, right? Right. Variables, right? Operators, right? Then we are going to see sentences also, that is called as statements. So from very basics, we are going to study. So we will start with very basics, data type, understand A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3 in terms of Python, then syntax, then statements, then operators, right? Something like that. Now you understood what is a programming language, why do we need it, why do we learn it, how are we going to learn? Right. But next question would be that I have named this session as Introduction to Programming and Python, basics of Python. Now the question would be, why Python? Why Python? Why are we going to learn Python? Is it भगवान सपने में आए थे बोले थे बेटा पाइथन पढ़ ले? Is this the reason? Right? Why we are going to learn Python? Right? Why are we going to learn Python? That's the question now. Right? Right. First thing is the ease of use. Ease of use. That is your design philosophy. Design philosophy. Philosophy. Right? Right. See, try to understand what happens. Most of these data science concepts has came from mathematicians like me or statisticians or computer science scientists, right? Now these statisticians and mathematicians wanted to have a programming language which was easy to use, right? Which was easy to use. And Python by design is very, very easy to use. Right? Second, a lot of libraries. A lot of libraries. What is libraries? In real world, what is a library? Collection of books. So similarly, here also, library is a collection of codes. So there are a lot of libraries. If you want to check it out, you will realize that there are like 1,37,000 number of libraries. Just say number of libraries in Python. Right? Right. So if you see it, 1,37,000 libraries, due to which Python has active community. Active community. Right? Right. This is the second thing. Third thing, general purpose programming language. Purpose programming language. Programming language. What is general purpose programming language? What is general purpose programming language? What does it mean? It simply means that if you want to do front end, back end, anything, right? Whatever you want to do, right? Even if you want to text your crush, right? You might be using Python, who knows, right? If you are watching something, the backend might be of Python. Right? Everything can be done using Python. Right? Now, next thing, right? For us, this is very, very important. That is, it is widely used in data industry. This is widely used in data industry, right? Python is used in data. Now there are some alternative options as well, like R programming. But most of the time you will find that, right, Python is used in industry. And the last point is cross-platform, right, slash integration. Cross-platform slash integration. So for example, let's say you have Manjulika, right? Manjulika. Who is Manjulika? She is my girlfriend, right? Right. So let's say Manjulika is there, right? Now Manjulika has developed the code in her Bhutia world. So this is her Bhutia world. That is your OS1. Very simple, right? Here is I am Ajay. I have developed a code in my real world, right? This is my OS2. OS means operating system 1, operating system 2, right? Now Manjulika says to me, hey Ajay, you are my boyfriend, can't you debug my code? But now Manjulika has developed the code on OS1 and I have to debug on OS2. So Python is so flexible that it says wherever you have developed the code, it doesn't matter. Just you can use the code anywhere. It is independent of any OS that you have used. Second, integration. That code, Python code, that code will be useful in both of the world. In Bhutia world as well, in the real world as well. Integration simply means it can integrate to, let's say, database, right? Let's say front end, right? Let's say back end, anywhere. Right? Database is a part of back end, but let's. So this is the way. This is the reason you understand why Python has become so famous. Now, next question. Fine, you have understood what is a programming language, right? You have understood why it is needed, how are we going to learn it. Now the question is very simple, right? Where are we going to write the code, right? So Python was developed by, if I have to name the Python developer, it was named by Guido Van Rossum. Right. Right. This was based on a character named Monty Python. There was a famous TV show, and it was developed in 1991. Right. You don't need to remember. Soon, when the Python was developed, then came a lot of environments. Environments. What are this environment? I will talk about this. No need to worry about that. So here, when you are talking to someone, you are talking in an environment, right? There is environment. This is the real world, right? Similarly, here also, if you want to interact with a machine, then you are going to use an environment. Now, what type of environment? That is called as IDES. What is this IDES? So you can just say IDE as well. So integrated development software. Software. Integrated development software. Right. So this is your IDEs. I have forgot one more thing. Environment software. Environment software. Right. This is the understanding. Integrated development environment software. Very good. Not a problem. Now, now, now. Here, we are now going to understand what is this IDE, how many different type of IDEs are there. Right? So we are going to look at that. So first thing, right? First thing, what is the IDE? So IDE is a software. A software a software that consolidates, consolidates, consolidates basic requirements, requirements for software development, for software development. That is the definition, or you can say understanding. But what is this software? So there are multiple software. It can be VS Code, right? It can be Jupyter Notebook, Jupyter Notebook, Jupyter Notebook, right? Jupyter Notebook, right? It can be PyCharm, right? You can have also cloud interface, something called Google Colab, Google Colab. So you can have multiple, multiple, IDEs, right? Now, how to use IDEs, right? So basically, you have to install the IDEs, right? So I am assuming that everyone has installed it. Even if not, you can simply go and search Anaconda download. In the YouTube video already I had shown you. So here download Anaconda distribution, and here is keep registration, and then you can just download and install it. I'm assuming everyone can download and install it. Right? Already I have provided a YouTube video. You can just go ahead and look at the YouTube video. So you can just go to my channel, and here, just a second, where is channel? So in the channel, you can just go ahead, 30 days of Python programming and Python. Right? So you can just check out how to install Anaconda. If you face any problem, just do let me know. Right. Second thing, VS Code. Similarly, you can also do VS Code installation if you want. Right. Right. But generally, I would suggest just stick to Jupyter Notebook. That's not a problem. Now moving ahead. So Google Colab. So we have Google Colab. So what is this Google Colab? Right. Similar to Anaconda, we have this Google Colab. Another IDE on cloud where you can write the code. So let's say here, new notebook, and if you just do the new notebook, an interface will open and where you can write the code. Right. So now it is just open. Now it will take some time to connect. But let's say here if I write A is equals to 5. A is equals to 5. And if I execute, how to execute? Shift plus enter. Then you will be able to execute. And then it will take some time in the start, because if you see it is connecting to Python Google Compute Engine backend, it will take some time and then it will be connected. So maybe it is still connecting. And then here we have A. And let's say here the value is, if you see, yes, so A is equals to 5. So this is the understanding. Now guys, moving ahead. So you guys have understood. Now let's say you have downloaded the Anaconda. Let's say if you want to open the Jupyter Notebook, how you can do this? Just search Jupyter Notebook. So once you just search Jupyter Notebook and click on this, by default, one browser will open. See, in the browser, you will open a home page, something like that. So now this is the home page. Whichever folder you want to go, you can just go ahead. I'm just opening this downloads, and then I will open a new notebook. So here I'm going to open a new notebook where I can start writing the code. Now it depends on you, however you want to, uh, execute the code. You can execute the code using Jupyter Notebook or Google Colab. It all depends on you. Okay. Right, right. So now, guys, let's start. Should we move ahead, guys? Everyone, right? So we are now going to start our first writing our first code, right? Should we start, guys? Everyone, yes or no? Right, right, right. Everyone, right? So everyone has opened this Jupyter Notebook, Google Colab, wherever you want to use it. Everyone, yes or no? Quickly. Okay. So let's start, guys. So let's start. Now, how in life, whenever you are born, the first thing that you speak is mama or papa, right? Similarly, in the world of Python programming, right, many of the time you will find that people start with very simple thing, that is print hello world. Print hello world. So let's say I'm just writing it here, print hello world. So this is the first thing that I have written. Now, what is this print? What is this hello world? I will talk about everything in detail. Everything in detail, one by one. But first of all, let's try to execute this. So if you execute this, what will you find? You will say hello world. Now let's say print, print. Let's say hello, 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 Monjo. Hello, Monjo, Lika. Monjolika. Right. So let's say, see here, hello, Monjolika. So by seeing these two examples, what you have understood? If you pass anything inside this print statement, you are actually getting the same thing as the output. Yes or no? Everyone? Is this clear? Is this clear? Everyone? Right? Right? Right. Very good. Very good. Now, have you ever thought, what is this print? What is this print? Have you ever thought about it? What is this print? What is this print? Right, right, right. Everyone, what is this print, guys? Quickly, answer me. Right, right, right. Batao, everyone has to answer this. Right, right. Very good, very good. So basically, right, this print, right, is nothing but a keyword, a predefined keyword, a predefined keyword, a predefined keyword. What is the meaning of this, guys? A predefined keyword. What is the meaning of this? So to understand this, I will let you guys go in little bit of detail. Right. So let's move ahead and go ahead with once more. I will come to this topic once again at a later stage, but please be very, very attentive here. This is very important. Let's say here you have opened Jupyter Notebook. So this is your Jupyter Notebook. This is your Jupyter Notebook, and you wrote print hello Monjolika. Right. Hello Monjolika. Right. Right. Is it that since she is my girlfriend, you are getting the result hello Manjolika? Is this the reason? Right. Or what is the reason? Someone is messaging in chat. Sir, girlfriend का नाम मत लो बार बार. अरे she is भूत. You don't guys have seen Bhul Bhulaiya movie? Right. So I'm in love with bhoots. Right. Monjolikas. Right. Kakas. Right. Istri. Right. I know all of them. I have made them individually. Everyone. So now, Sarkata. Yes, very good. So what is the reason that you get this print? Hello, Manjulika. You get printed. Hello, Manjulika. Why? Have you ever thought about this? So basically, what happens? This is your computer machine. This is your computer machine. Computer machine. This is you. This is you. Very good. You are speaking something, right? And in between, there comes a translator. Do you know who is this translator? Who is this translator? Right, right. This translator is nothing but a compiler or a interpreter. Interpreter. What does it do? What is this compiler? What is interpreter? I will explain everything in detail. But first of all, what does this compiler or interpreter do? Right, right. What does it do? So basically, your computer machine only understands 1, 0, 1, 0, something like that. Right? It only understands the binary code. 1010 is called as binary. 10 binary. By means two. Only two values. That is binary number. That is 1 and 0. Right. Right. So compiler, interpreter. Very good. It will actually, right, convert. It will convert a English code, or convert English code to binaries. Code to binaries. So it will convert this English code to binaries, that is also called as machine language. In a very simple word, machine language, because machine understands only 1 and 0. That's why it is called as machine language. Now, this has been converted to 1 and 0, whatever you write, and it has been passed to computer. But there is a problem. What is the problem? Problem is, as a human, you cannot write everything in a form of 1 or 0. Then what happens? Then Python says, beta, don't worry, I am there for you. They give you, Python give you some predefined functions or keyword. We call it as keyword, which has a definite use case, which does a specific task. Right, right. So predefined functions or keywords does a specific task. Does a specific task. Right. It does a specific task. Very good. And one of those keyword is print. So whenever you use print, Python understand that this person wants me to print the things as it is. Now there are around 32 keywords. 32 keywords. There are 32 keywords. Now if you just go ahead and Google it out, just Google it out. Here you can just search Python keywords, Python keywords, Python keywords. I will come to this again, right? But let's say this is your Python keywords. See, and, as, break, def, elif, finally, all of these are Python keywords. Now, very good, very good. Now the question would be, right, do I need to remember the keywords? The answer is no. No, you cannot actually, you don't need to actually learn it. But again, this is not the end of the chapter. The chapter is now The main point here is now, what is this compiler? What is interpreter? This we have to discuss. You understood that you have to convert the English code to binaries so that machine can understand. One of the interface, one of the function that is already defined in Python is the print statement. Very good, not a problem. Very good, not a problem. But what is this compiler? What is this interpreter? That we need to understand it. Right. Right. So here, before going ahead to the compiler and interpretation, right? Again, I will come to Jupyter Notebook here in this case. First of all, I will show you if you want to look at the keywords, right? How can you check the keywords in Python, guys? Anyone has any idea? How can you check the keywords using Jupyter Notebook? Anyone has any idea? Anyone? Quickly. Right, right, right. Quickly, guys. Already you guys have, many of you guys have, checked it, right? You have already done it. Okay. Many of you are answering it, right? Very good. Many of you are answering it. But it is very easy to check it. But I guess, to be honest, if you want to check it, you can check it. But this would be taught at a later stage. But I will just let you check. So help keywords. So you have to just write something like this. So help keywords, right? So let's just write keywords. So in this way, this help command is used to check anything, right, in Python, whatever help you want. So here is a list of Python keywords. So this is the understanding. But now, moving ahead, so you guys have understood here, right? Now, moving ahead, that what is actually the understanding of this particular two terms, compiler and interpreter? Because I just wanted to show you keywords in Python notebook, but what is the meaning of this compiler and interpreter? Now this is the question. What is the meaning of this? So now to understand this, right, I will just replace this translator to a word called as compilation slash interpretation. Right. Compilation slash interpretation. So translator is a generic word that I used, but the technical word would be compilation or interpretation. But now, what is this compilation? What is interpretation? That's the main question now. Right? One is Monjolika, another one is Kakura. One is Salman Khan, and another is Shahrukh Khan. No, it is not so. What is this compilation and what is interpretation? So compilation is done by compiler, interpretation is done by interpreter. But before that, if someone asks you what is compilation or what is interpretation, so how will you define this? If someone asks you compilation slash interpretation. If someone asks you, right, how would you define? Right. So you can simply write a way to convert English code to binaries. Very simple. What? Because processors only understand. What is processor? Where all the computation happens. Processors only understands the binary number. So whatever you are actually typing, it will be converted to English sorry, whatever English you have typed, it will be converted to binaries and then it will be executed. This is your compilation and interpretation. Now you must be thinking, Ajay, very cleverly you have written translation to compilation and interpretation. But what is the difference between them? Right. Right. Very simple. So basically, compilation is done by compiler. Compilation is done by compiler, 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 and interpretation is done by interpreter. Again, you will be thinking, Ajay, पहेलियां मत बुझाओ यार, सीधा सा आंसर दो. What is the meaning of this compiler? What is the meaning of interpreter? Right. Now, if I will say both are almost same, you will just laugh. Yes, both are almost same. The only difference is, please note it down somewhere. This is the important thing. Very, very important thing. Right? Interpretation. Very, very important thing with respect to interview. Interpretation. यार spelling क्यों गलत लिख रहा हूँ? Interpretation. Interpreter. Just this. Interpretation. Right. 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 So compiler compiles the code, compiles the code, compiles the code, compiles the code in one go. In one go. Rishabh, you have told opposite. In one go. Compilation compiles the code in one go. So let's say you have written a script. So this is a script. This is a script. A is equals to Ajay. B is equals to Manjolika. Right? C is equals to Dum Dum Dum. Right? So what does compiler do? It will compile the code. Compile means convert to binary the complete script in one go. Interpreter, line wise line, line by line. It will compile the code line by line. Compile the code line by line. Compile the code line by line. Right? Right. This is the understanding. Now you must be wondering, Ajay, sir, completely fine. But what is Python? Python is a compilation language or it is an interpreted language. What do you think, guys, everyone? So one of the example of compilation is, let's say, Java, C, C++, JavaScript, right? But what is interpreter language? Example, PHP, right? And let's say Python is there. So what is a Python? It is a compiler language or interpreter language? Right. Yes, Java is both. Java is both. Java is both. But what about, oh, just a second, guys. My scribble is saying I am done for the day. Oh my god. So here was compiler, compiler, and interpreter. Interpreter. Right? So now guys, what is Python, everyone? Right. Line, complete script. Complete script in one go. Right. This line wise line. Line wise. Line by line. Example, right? So here, let's say 1, 2, 3, completely. Here, first one line, second line, third line. But now the question was, right, what is the example? So Java, C, C++. Let's say here PHP. So I have written Java here. Java can be both. So I can just write here Java is both. Java is both. Java is script. That's the understanding. Now, what is Python actually? What is a Python? It is a compiler language or it is an interpreter language? What do you think, guys? Right, right, right. So many of you are saying interpreter. But if you dive deep into it, so how it works, try to understand. So Python actually slightly works differently. So Python line wise line, right? It is compiled line wise line, compiled and right, compiled and then it is interpreted interpreted by PVM, Python Virtual Machine. I guess I have to look at. So just if you just Google it out, something like this. So Python. So let's say is an interpreter or compiler language. See here. Many of the places you will find Python is an interpreted language, which means the source code of converted into bytecodes, then executed by Python virtual machine. So executed by the Python virtual machine. This is something that you see at a random block, right? But many of the time, right? See here, here is the definition. Python code is first compiled into bytecode. This process transforms the code from human readable to a form that can be executed by interpreter, and then Python virtual machine that interprets the bytecode line by line, producing machine code as now. So basically, the underlying principle of Python is also same. But most of the places you will find that Python is told as interpreted language. But whenever someone says it is an interpreted language, what is the meaning of that? First, you have written something, like you, like wrote something in English, like you wrote something in English, then it is compiled, right? Line by line by line, right? And then actually you can just remove line by line here. Then here you can just say that it is by PVM, Python virtual machine, it is interpreted line by line, line by line. So that is the complete understanding. Though everyone says Python is an interpreted language, but that's the complete understanding. So now this print statement that we were discussing, this helps this helps in the interpretation of the English code that you have written. So now guys, have you understood in depth why there is the print statement, what is the significance of this, and why if you had written something like this, name is equals to Ajay, then it has given you, or you just write print name, then it gave you the name that you want. Did you guys understood this? Everyone so far so happy? Yes or no? Quickly, guys. Till now, everyone is enjoying the class. Yes or no? Is it clear? Right. Very good. Very good. Very good. So, guys, should we take a break? Should we take a break? Everyone agrees to this, right? Right. 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 Okay. So let's take a. How many minutes of break you guys want? Quickly. Break Mandali. There is no break Mandali. Okay. So let's take a 5 minutes of break. So 5 minutes time. So do you start, guys, everyone? Everyone back? सभी को लाइफ में मजे आ रहे हैं? Everyone enjoying? Okay, guys. So should we start? Yes, very good. So let's start, guys. Let's start. Now this is going to be more fun now, because till now all thing was gyan. So we have enough of gyan, right? I will very important. Just let me know in the last what is the most important interview questions out of this section that I will be discussing. Right. Right. So even if I forget, just do let me know. Now, guys, now we have understood everything, whatever we had till here, right? There is a print statement, we have something. We'll come to this keyword as well, right? Now, moving ahead, so let's say what we had understood previously, right? That in language, in real life, in real life, in real life, what we learn? In real life, we start with A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Right. 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 Then you learn A for everyone. A for what do you learn? First alphabet. Then A for someone is saying Ajay, apple. Then you learn A for aristocrat. B for Bacardi. Right. Right. Sorry. Just ignore this. A for apple. Who knows? Who knows? Who understood? They understood. But let's say apple, ball, cat, dog, something like that. Right? Then you say, I ate apple, something like that. In the recorded lecture, I was saying I ate ball, and I just told, okay, I ate apple. Okay, so let's say I ate apple. This is the statement. This is the real world scenario. Similarly, right here also, we will try to understand very simple things. So first, we will start with what is data type. Data type. What is data type? If something is integer, something is float, something is character. Character means, in terms of Python language, that is string. Something is sequential data. Right? Sequential data means list, tuple, string. Right? So we are going to see all of those things. Right? Then it can be Boolean. Right? We are going to see also this. No, no, no. This is the understanding. So far, not a problem. Very good. So I'll just delete this. Right. Very good. The first thing I am going to write. So let's say A is equals to 3. A is equals to 3. I'm just writing it. Right. So A is equals to 3. Right. And if I just write A, then here it is 3. So far, so good. Not a problem. Yes or no, guys, everyone? Right? Yes or no? Right? A is equals to 3, and then you typed, you got 3. Very good. Right. Right. Now, 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 now. Let's say now you wrote A is equals to Ajay. Ajay. So now, if I write here A, then it will give you Ajay. So far, so good. Now, if you see it carefully, right? Here you have written integer. Here you have written a string. The characters, right, is known as string in Python. So if I have to write it, so I'll just write it here so that it is very, very clear. Right. Similar to understanding, A, B, C, whatever you learn first, then apple, ball, right? Similar to that, right? Right. You will also learn the programming language. So first we will start with very simple numeric data type. So data type, I will make a chart for you. Data type. In data type, the first one is numeric. Numeric. Numeric data type. In numeric also, it is of three types. First, second, third. Numeric, we have first integer, second float, third complex. Integer, float, complex. Right. Then we have sequential type. Sequence types. Sequence types. Right. Sequence types. Right. Now in sequence types, we have a string, right? We have list, we have tuples. You guys no need to worry about anything. We will see everything in detail. The third one is mapping types. Mapping types. Mapping types. Here in this, you learn dictionary. 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 Then we have set types. Set types. Set types. In set types, what do you have? Right. You have something called set and frozen set. Frozen set. Then we have something called Boolean type. Boolean type. Now you must be wondering, sir, बहुत हो रहा है आज के लिए. Don't worry. You don't need to remember anything. In Boolean type, you have true, false. Right. Then last, you have none type. What is this none type? It is a null value. Nothing. Null value. Null value. There is bitwise also. Very good, Rishikesh. Bitwise also is there. But this is the broader. Santanu, now you are happy. You are getting a good notes. Santanu का demand था notes चाहिए sir. So this is the complete overall picture. Right. Right. But obviously, we are not going to understand everything in detail today itself, as this is the basics. But why I have given you this particular complete structure here? There's a reason behind it. So that you have this overall view that these are the things that we are going to understand in the upcoming basic Python lectures. Right. Now we will start slowly. We will start first with some data types. Right. This is also called as objects. Right, objects. In Python, everything is an object. What is an object? So this is a water bottle. So let's say this is a water bottle. What is this? This is the object. For Python, this integer, what is this? It is an object. Float, for Python, this is object. Right. So all of these things for Python is object. Meaning some real world entity. This water bottle is object for us. If you ask some Akash Ganga star that what is this bottle for you, it will not even consider this as an object. Right? Right? Very simple. This pen is an object for us. Similarly, this integer, float, complex, string, list, tuples, these are objects for Python. Everything in Python is object. This is the first thing. So if I write here, everything in Python is object. Python is object. Now, second thing, integer, float, complex, Boolean, non-type. These are called as basic data types. These are called as basic data types. So, basic or natural, whatever you say, native. So, int, float, complex, Boolean, non-type. Right? These are basic data types. Why? I will talk about this. No need to worry about that. Then we have data structures. Yes, string as well. I missed one thing. Very good. Whoever has pointed, Pius. Very good. So string. I missed this. String. Now comes data structure. Actually, string comes in the data structure itself. So data structure. Data structure. Or you can put string in both of them, I guess. Right. So data structure. So in data structure, we have strings, list, tuples, dictionary, right, right, tuples, right, dictionary, right, and sets. Always remember, this is very important to know, that these are changeable. Many of the time you will find that a string is in the basic data type also. There is no any hard and fast rule that you have to say this the basic data type. Just people prefer to say this as a data type and this as a data structure. Very good. Not a problem. So far so good. You have a bigger picture now. Right. Now, let's start with integer, float, complex, string, and boolean. Let's try to understand this everything in detail. So let's say here you are writing a is equals to right some number 5.6. So this becomes your float. So if you just write a 5.6. So here I will just write first basic data structures. So basic data structure. So I'll just write it here basic data structure. Basic data structure. Right. Now moving ahead, guys, let's move ahead. So now you have understood that these are the integer, float, string, and let's say basic data structure. Right. Right. Now, how to know what is the data structure? Now you know because I have told you that this is a string. But how Python knows this? So for that, you have to write type of A. So if you just write type of A, then you will get to know this is a float. Right? Let's say A is equals to Monjo. Monjo. Right. Now this time A, instead of A, I write B is equals to Monjo. Then you will just write type of B. So if you just write type of B, it will give you, it is a string. So what is this type? Type is to detect the data type of an object. Data type of an object. So far so clear? Anyone has any doubt till now? Right? Anyone? Right? Right. So far so good? Yes or no, everyone? No doubts? Very good. Very good. So you have seen string, you have seen float, you have seen integer. Let's see it here. C is equals to true. So what is this? C equals to true is a Boolean value. So now if you just see type of C, you will find this is the Boolean value. So here you get to know that this is a Boolean value. Right. Now again, let's say D is equals to false. Right. If you just look at type of D, then you will find this is a false. Sorry, Boolean value. Right. Now moving ahead, if you want to see the complex value, right. So let's say C equals to 3 plus 5j. Obviously, you might be knowing that complex value is something like this. complex value is like this: 3i plus 2j, something that you see in real world. Right. This is how you write a complex number in mathematics, where x and y is there. So this point, let's say, is 3 and this is 2. Then this point will be told as or called as 3i plus 2j. Right. Don't worry about that. If you guys understood, it's okay. Even if not, this simply means that this is the notation of this particular data point. In terms of I and j, this is called as complex notation of a number. Right. Very good. Now moving ahead. Right. Moving ahead. Right. So this is a complex number. So now if you see type of C, right, type of C, this you will get to know is a complex number. Right. This is a complex number. Now complex has two parts. Right. This 3, right, complex has two parts, 3 and 5. So 3 plus 5j. Right. Here in this case, 3 is called as real number, 5 is called as complex part, or sorry, imaginary part. Imaginary part. Right? Right. Now, let's say you have defined this complex number. You want to now individually check what are the real number and what are the complex number. In that case, what you will do? Very simple. Just write here C dot real. C dot real, you will get 3. C dot imaginary, then you will get 5. This is the understanding. So far, so good, guys, everyone. These are some basic data types. You can also write f equals to none, right? None, right? And now just search type of f. So if you just write type of f, you will get to know this is a none type. None type means null value. It means nothing. Very simple words. Is it clear so far, everyone? Understood so far? Right? Very good. Very good. Now, guys, there are some few more things that we are going to look at. So let's try to look at other things as well. So now, if you have, let's say, if you have written something like this, some values like this, right? A is equals to 5. A is equals to 5. Can anyone explain me what is A, what is equals to, and what is 5? Everyone? Let me see how many of you can explain me this. What is A, what is equals to, and what is 5? Quickly. Right? 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 Very good. Many of you are answering it. Right. So A is variable. Right? Equals to is operator. Right? And 5 is literals. Right? Or value. Whatever you want. Got it, everyone? A is variable, equals to is operator, 5 is literals, or also called as value. Right. Right. Now, let's start again. So now coming, we are going to the next thing, that is variable. What is variable? So can you answer me what is a variable? Quickly. What is a variable? Let me see if anyone can answer this. What is a variable? Variable. What is a variable? Variable. Everyone. What is a variable? बताओ. Any name to store variable value? Very good. Named reason in the memory? Very good. Anyone else? Right. Right. Which contains some known and unknown quantity of data? Very good. So what is a variable? If I have to define a variable, right? Many of you have defined it correctly, right? A placeholder, right? A placeholder, placeholder to store the data. Placeholder to store the data. Or in other word, instead of placeholder, you can also write container, container, container to store the data. Very good, very easy. In place of data, you can also write object because in Python, everything is an object. So what is a variable? A placeholder or a container to store the data or object. Now what happens? Have you ever thought whenever you write a is equals to 5, then what will happen, guys? Have you ever thought what will happen if you write a equals to 5? Right? Right. So in a RAM, so let's say this is your computer machine. Inside this, there is a memory block. So there will be a memory block will be created, something like this, right? Right. And let's say 5 is here and its name is A. Ideally, exactly it doesn't happen this way. But as of now, understand in this way that whenever you are writing A is equals to 5, this is gonna happen. Right? This is a container or this is a placeholder that has been created in your RAM whose value is 5 and the identifier is A. And that's how a variable is also known as identifier. Right, right, right. Variable is also known as, let's say, identifier. Right, right, right. So here I can simply write. Here I'll just put it something like this. Now I can just write. So whenever you create some variable, it is called as an identifier. So a variable, class, function, or anything that you will create is also called as identifier. Identifier. What is class? You don't need to worry about that. Why it is called as identifier? Right. Because here when you created a equals to 5, at the same moment, right, in your RAM, right, you got to have some memory space allocated, right, whose value is 5 and the identity or the name is A. Exactly this doesn't happen. I will talk about this again, memory, about the memory management at a later stage. But as of now, you understand this is the only thing happening here. Exactly happens in some other way. I will talk about that at a later stage. So that is the understanding. So now guys understood what is a variable? A container to store the data or any object so that you can use it at a later stage, right? Right. So that you can use it at a later stage so that it can be used at a later stage. That is the understanding, right? Very good. Now, one more thing. One more thing. So there is some concept which is very much asked in the interview as well. I will come to that concept. But before this, have you guys ever used C, Java, something like that? Any other programming language? Do you guys have any experience in that? Do you guys have any experience in this? Okay. Many of you are saying no. Right. Right. But if you have used other programming language, then you will be defining a variable, something like this. Right. So first of all, I'll just give you example. A equals to 5. So A is equals to 5. So I'll just write it here. A is equals to 5. So A is variable slash identifier equals to symbol is operator operator operator, and 5 is literal or value. It is also called as literal or value. Now fine, that's not a problem. Now what I was saying, right, whenever you write a code, right, in C or Java, you must have seen that you would have written something like this: int a is equals to 5. Yes or no, guys? Everyone? Yes or no? Right. Right. This is the way you write. Right. Right. But right. 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 In Python, you don't need to do so. So in other programming language, you need to define a variable initially at the start of program, at the start of program, at the start of program, right? And define data type, define data type, define data type, data type. This is the understanding, data type. But actually in Python, you don't need to do this, right? In Python, you directly, so first of all, I will comment it so that I will comment it, guys. Just a second. Array, where is control? So in Python, what do? You directly write like this, right? So in Python, wherever required, wherever required, required, you can, you can, you can make a variable. You can make a variable. That is the understanding. First thing. Right. So whenever needed, you create a variable. Whenever required, just create a variable on free. Right. Right. Now, there is one very important concept here. Right. Very important concept here. Right. What is the important concept? The concept is nothing but dynamic typing. So the concept here is dynamic typing. Dynamic typing. What is this dynamic typing? Very much asked in the interview. What is this dynamic typing? Right. In other programming language, you were actually defining integer, float, something like this. But but when it comes to Python, you don't need to define the data type. If you write A is equals to 5, then by default, Python understands that this is supposed to be integer. This is called as dynamic typing. What is dynamic typing? Python interpreter understands by default the data type of variable. Data type of variable. This is dynamic typing. Opposite of this, right? Opposite of this is called as static typing. This is called as static typing. So whenever you are defining any data type and then defining the variable, then that is called as static data typing. And in Python, you don't need to do so. Python itself understands, and that's why it is called as dynamic type. Is it clear? Is it clear? Yes or no? Very important with respect to interview. Right. I will explain you in the last also how can it be asked. Right. Right. This is the understanding. There is one more concept associated with this static typing and dynamic typing. Right. That is called as dynamic binding. What is this dynamic binding? Dynamic binding. This is also very easy. Binding means to bind. Right. Dynamic binding. What is this dynamic binding? So what happens? I don't know how many of you have used Rust. That's a recent programming language, or you have used C plus or Java. What happens? If you have defined something a equals to 15, right? Then in the whole programming, that variable a will be having value 15. It will store an integer 15. So I will just write it here. In other programming language, in other programming language, in other programming language, right? Language. If you define a variable, it will be, it will store same value throughout, same data type throughout, data type and value throughout program. Program. But in Python, what happens in Python? But in Python, but in Python, right, this declaration can change any time. The declaration can, the declaration or definition can change any time, can change. Example, a equals to 15. Very good. Just write print. So you want to print a. So if you printed a, this is 15. The moment you write a is equals to Ajay, right, right, and then write print a again, print a again, this time this becomes, first it was 15, then it becomes Ajay. So in the same program, same variable can hold different data type, but it is not possible in other programming language. So same variable can store different data type, different data type, different data type. Actually, the value you can just remove it because the data type is the most important thing, because in other programming language you define integer or something like that at the initial stage. So dynamic binding, this is the meaning of dynamic binding. Is it clear? Is it clear, guys? Everyone understood what is static typing, what is dynamic typing, what is dynamic binding? Clear everyone? Yes or no? What is dynamic binding? Very simple. In other programming language, you cannot change the data type in the program. In Python, if you have written a equals to 15 at a later stage, you can also write a is equals to some string value. That is your binding data type. Right. Right. Is it clear? Yes, Kiran, I will come to that. Slowly, I will come to that as well. Where two variables can store only one value. I will come to that. I will come to that. Right. Is it clear, everyone? Yes or no till now? Everyone? Right. Very good. Very good. Very good. Now, guys, you have understood that this is the variable, right? This is a variable or identifier, right? Right. Right. This is the way you define the variable or data type. Now, there is a question. Very simple question. What are the rules of defining a variable? Is it that as so ke uthe? Today I woke up, right? Right. Had a nice drink in the night, and let's I will define some variable like this: star 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 has and then percent equals to 5. Can I define variable like this? Can I define variable like this? The answer is no. Right. So now comes the next part: rules of defining a variable. Rules of defining a variable, right? Right. Or identifier. Same thing I have been telling. You can also say identifier or variable. Okay. Right. Now, what are the rules? First thing, no keywords should be the name of variable. Name of variable. This is the first thing. No keywords should be the name of variable. This is the first thing. Clear? No keywords should be the name of variable. Example, you can't say print is equals to hello. It will not throw you any error. Most probably it will not throw you an error. But the next time, if you write print abracadabra, cadabra, you will find an error. See, a string object is not callable. Right, right. The string object is not callable. Now what you have to do, guys? Now what you have to do? Right. So you have to start the kernel first. Restart the kernel. Because you have done a wrong thing. Right. This you will learn slowly. Right. Right. But you cannot do this. First rule, no keyword should be the name of variable. Second rule, no special characters. Special characters. So for example, you cannot define percent equals to 3. It will show you some magic number. See, line magic function percent not found. You cannot do so. You cannot write dollar is equals to 1000. See, syntax. Any special character at the rate, let's say at the rate, or cap equals to 200. You cannot do so. Right. You cannot do so. This is the second rule. Third rule, no integer and float in the start. You cannot do so. Example, you cannot write 2 is equals to abra. Right? You cannot do so. Right? You cannot write even something like this. One name is equals to one name is, let's say, Vandana. You cannot do so. Right? You cannot do so. You cannot write something like 1.2 is equals to ABC. No, you cannot do this as well. Right? Then you will be thinking, Ajay, then what is the rule of declaring a variable? Very simple. Just use alphabet or strings. Use strings or underscore. That's it. Use strings or underscore. So for example, name is equals to Ajay. You can define a variable like this. So now you will see this is your Ajay. Right. ABC, you can define something like this. Right. Monjolika. right? You can just do this. So you will find ABC something like this, right? You can write like this: location is equals to Mumbai. You can do something like this. That is accepted, right? Location. See? Right. So now see what you are learning. You are learning to write words. First, you learned how to write some numbers, right? A, B, C, D, something like that. Now you are trying to learn words, how to write words. I'm just comparing with the real life world language learning with the Python programming language learning. You can something write like this: underscore A for something like this, apple. You can do like this. This is correct way of declaration. See? You can also write directly like this: underscore equals to ball. This is accepted. See? Ball. Again, you cannot write something like this: A minus BC is equals to Ram. You cannot do so. Or let's say data plus AI is equals to CareerCraft. You cannot write like this. You cannot do this as well. Right? You cannot also write like this: CareerCraft is equals to data science. You cannot do so because there is some, you know, space between two words. It should be continuous. But if you write something like this, career underscore craft, then it will be good. So career underscore craft, this is the correct way. You see, career craft, this is the correct way. Right. This is the understanding. This is the way you define a variable. Only two things to remember: use underscore and strings. Right. You can write, you can define like this: name 1 is equals to Ajay. You can do this: name 1 is equals to Ajay. See, name 1, this is the variable. But you cannot write one name is equals to Ajay. You cannot do so. You cannot do so. Is it clear? Everyone? So far, so good. Quickly, guys. Everyone? Now, this was how to declare the variables. Oh, I see Jyoti. Jyoti, you are here. She is my one of the favorite students. How are you, Jyoti? Doing good? Understanding everything? Okay. So now, guys, let's move ahead. Right. Let's move ahead. So now you have declared, you got to know what are the rules and regulations of declaring a variable. Right. So now one more thing. Let's say A is equals to 5. Right. Right. A is equals to 5. So A is equals to 5. This is A. Have you ever thought, guys, right, what is the largest number that you can store in a Python variable? Quickly, guys. Anyone? Anyone has any idea? What is the largest value? So here, let's say I will write A is equals to, I will show you, A is equals to 1 E. I'm writing E. And let's say here 10, right? Then you just see what is the value. So this is the value. What is the meaning of this? Right, right, right. What is the meaning of this? If I write 1 E10, what is the meaning of this? It simply means 1 multiplied by 10 to power 10. See here, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can just look at it. Right? This is the value. Now, how maximum it can go? Right. So I'll just show you. So I'll just write it here. This means 1. This means 1 multiplied by right 10 to power 10. Right? 10 to power 10. Just calculate the zeros. Let's see it if I am wrong. Just do it. But now, what is the maximum number it can go? Right. So the maximum number that it can go is, I guess, I don't know. I don't remember exactly. I just do hit and try. It was 308 or 309. So 308. It is fine. Okay. 309. Yes, infinity. Right. The maximum number. So it is 1 multiplied by 10 to power 309. 10 to power 309. So Python will start showing you 10 to power 309. That number as infinity. It will start showing you as infinite. Similar to float as well. So 1 point, let's say 8, 1.8 E30. You will not do some calculation, something like this. Say let's say infinity, this is the infinity value. Right? But maximum 10 to power 309, Python can give you the values, can give you the numbers. Right. Now moving ahead, other thing, how to declare the variables. So there are some fancy ways to declare the variables. How? So let's say you want to different way of declaring the variables. Different way of declaring the variables. Declaring the variables. Now, if you want to declare, so while working, you will find that different people have different way of coding, right? So many of the time you will see that people are writing the code something like this. A is equals to B is equals to C is equals to, right? C is equals to 100. C is equals to 100. This is also a way to declare the variable. So here if you see A is also 100, B is also 100, and C is also 100. Sometimes if you want to define variable, right? So let's say A is equals to 100, B is equals to 101, 101, 101, right? C is equals to 102, 102. So this is the way you have defined the variable. But this can be defined something also like this: A comma B comma C is equals to 101, 100, sorry, 100 and 101, 100, 101 and 102. This way as well. See, A is 100, B is 101, C is 102. Right. So this is the different way to define the variables as well. So this is just a fancy way people actually define the variable this way. Is it clear? Yes or no? Yes or no? Right, right, right. Clear? Now guys, right. Jyoti, that means 10 to power. That's it. Right. So guys, let's take more 5 minutes of break. I guess 1 hour is there already happened. So we'll be taking just 5-7 minutes of break for every 1 hour. Is it fine, guys? Everyone? Should we take a 5 minutes break and then again we should start? Right. So let's take a 5 minutes of break and then we will again start. Hey guys, start. Everyone. Everyone, guys, should we start quickly? Yes or no, guys? Should we start? Is everyone sleeping or what? Okay. Okay. Starting now again. Quickly, everyone. Answer it yes or no. Very good. Right. So now, guys, let's start. So we have understood almost, how to define the variables and like this. So now we have, right, another thing to know, it is comments. How to write comments. So already you have seen I am writing comments. So just use a hash to write comments. So for example, let's say I want to write this is a lecture in Python. Lecture in Python. This is a lecture in Python. Right. So this is the way you write a comment. Right. Maybe again moving ahead. So let's say this is first. So this is like one line of comment. Let's say you have two lines of comment you want to write. So you can just simply write this is first line of comment. First line of comment. First line of comment. Right. So now maybe let's say this is second line of comment. This is second line of comment. Line of comment. This is very important to know. There's a reason behind it. Because you guys should know about this. What is the industry use of this commenting? Like why? Why you should know to comment? Right. So क्या होता है guys? Try to understand. Let's say in a kitchen. Let's say in a kitchen. Right. Let's say in a kitchen. Three cooks, one C1, C2, and C3 are making a dish. Very good dish that has to be served to president of a country. Very simple. Now what will happen? C1 comes, gives 1 spoon of salt. C2 comes. Since C2 doesn't know what C1 has done, C2 will also put 1 spoon of salt. C3 will also put 1 spoon of salt. Then what will happen to this? Hey, what will happen to this, guys? Quickly. What will happen to this? President will, if the president is of North Korea, then you are, I guess, north or south, whatever it is, you are executed, right? Yeah, you are hanged till death, right? Similarly, right? So why? I will just write the reason why. Similar to, similar to multiple, multiple cooks, cooks destroying the important dish by adding salt multiple times, multiple times. A coding pipeline, a code or a script or a software can also be a maze without comments. Without comments. How? Just replace. Now what you have to do? Replace this particular dish with software, with a software. Replace this kitchen with a company name. Keep C1, just interpret this as a coder 1, coder 2, coder 3. This has to be given to a client. That's it. Now what will happen? Someone will come write something. Someone will come write something. Someone will come write something. But if you guys don't provide the code, the final code will be a mess. So in real world, always you have to make a habit of writing the codes in the comment, and that's why the comment becomes an important thing. Clear? Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? Right? Right? Is it clear, everyone? Quickly. Right. 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 Very good. So now I will just move it. Very good. You guys have understood this. Now, this is a single line comment. If you have multiple lines, then each line you have to write has, something like that. But there is a way in Python to write multi-line comments as well. How? Right. I will show you. So for multi-line comments, we have multi-line comments. This is also called as doc strings. Right. How you can write? Just write triple single quote. Just write this triple single quote. Now hit tab, right? And then you can just write this is a multi-line comment. Multi-line comment. Right, right. We are at CareerCraft. CareerCraft. We are learning things in detail. We are learning things in detail. See, this all lines will be treated as a comment. And now if you write a is equals to 2, only this will be executed. A equals to 2, that is a. And other things will not be executed. This is the understanding. Is it clear? Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? Quickly. Right? So far, so good. But let's say, actually, instead of this single quote, you can also write double quotes. That is called as doc string. Right? Doc string is used. Right? I'll just write it everything. Don't worry about that. So let's say here, and you can just write here. So this will also be treated as a comment. See, this is called as doc string. Doc string means document string. Doc string. Simply meaning that you are documenting things. Document string. Right. So this is actually used a lot of many times while you work actually with a function. Right. Right. Whenever you're working with a function, you will use these multiple times to write comments about the function. What does each of the function do? This is the understanding. Is it clear? Yes or no? Everyone? Clear? Right. Now, guys, moving ahead. So let's say something has been written like this: 5 plus 2. 5 plus 2. 5 plus 2. So what is the value that you get? It is 7. So when you write 5 plus 2, you get value 7. Very good, not a problem. But now, if you just write 5 plus 2, right? 5 plus 2. What it will give you, guys? What it will give you? 5 plus 2. What will it give you? Quickly. Right? It should give you an error. Right? It will give you an error. Why? Can you answer this? Right? Can you answer this? Why? Because here it is a string. Here this is an integer. Right? So you cannot add a string to an integer. You cannot do so. You cannot do so. And that's why you get an error. But now you know this. that here it is integer inside a string. ये बहरूपिया है, बाहर से स्ट्रिंग दिख रहा है, अंदर से इंटीजर है. Outside it looks like a string, but inside it is an integer. अब क्या करोगे? What will you do? What will you do, guys? So you will convert the data type. Data type conversion. Now, how to convert the data type? So there are two types of data type conversion. Data type conversion is of two types. Two types. First, implicit. Second, explicit. Implicit means Python takes care of that. Python takes care. How? I will show you. Explicit, externally, you change the data type. How? I will just show you. So for example, right, let's say you have written 3 plus 3.5. What are you guys doing here? 3 plus 3.5. What are you guys doing? 3 is an integer, 3.5 is a float. Yes or no? Everyone? Right? Yes or no? 3 is an integer plus float. Python will implicitly change the data type. Data type. Now what will happen? See, 6.5. Very good. It becomes 6.5. Now comes the interesting thing. This was implicitly done. But let's say 3 plus 3.5. If you do so, it will throw an error. Why? You cannot do addition between a string and an integer. You cannot do so. So in that case, what will you do? You have to do explicit typecasting or type conversion, whatever you want to say, typecasting. So in this case, you have to write 3 plus integer of 3.5, or let's say here 3. I will write 3 because why I'm not writing 3.5, I will come to that as well. So integer of 3. Now you see the value is 6. Yes or no? Yes or no, guys, quickly. Right? Everyone? Right? Agrees to this? Very good. Now comes another interesting thing. Let's say we have 3.2. You want to convert this into a float value. How can you do so? So you have to write float here, and then it will convert to a float. Very good. Right. Now comes the interesting part. So let's say here we have complex number 3 plus 2j somewhere. Right. Here inside a string. If you want to convert this into complex, what will happen, guys? Anyone? What will happen? See, you have converted to complex number. Now, let's say another complex number is there, 2 plus 5j. In this case, if you want to convert this to integer, will it happen, guys? Will it happen? Anyone? Will it happen? The answer is no. It will not happen. Why? Why? Why it is so that it will not happen? Right. Right. Why it is so? Right. So basically, if you convert this to integer, then what will happen? Only 2 will come. because 2 is the integer part, real part, 5 is the imaginary part. So there will be information loss, error, because information loss will be there. Information loss will happen. Very simple. You are converting 2 plus 5j. See it here. You are converting this to 5j. This is your real number and this is your imaginary number. When you convert to integer, only real part will convert it to integer. What will happen to imaginary? So there will be some information loss that Python will not allow, and that's why it will throw an error. Right? This is the understanding. Now you will say, sir, can you prove it more? Yes, why not? So let's say here we have very simple value. Right? A is equals to, or let's say simple, 3.5. Can I convert this? So if I convert to integer 3, int of 3, can I convert this? Everyone, the answer is yes, you can convert. Can I convert 3.5 to float? The answer is yes, you can convert that as well. So 3.5, so it will convert to float. So here it is 3.4. But can I convert 3.4 to integer? Can I do so? Answer it. Can I do so? See it here. Whoever has told yes, you guys are not typing the code. It will again throw an error. Why? Because again the information loss will happen. Control C, and I will just put Control V. Is it clear? Yes or no? Quickly. Right? Right. Right. So far, so good. Understood this? Right. So, what is the meaning of typecasting? Right. Typecasting. If someone asks you what is the meaning of typecasting, you can simply say cast means to change the data type. To change the data type. Very easy. Change the data type. Now, there's one more fun fact. Right. So now, let's say you have A is equals to Ajay. Can I convert this to integer? Can I convert this to integer? Right. Why? Why? It will throw an error because this is actually a string. But if you do like this, A equals to 3.5, 3.5, then you will be able to convert this to integer. Int of A. Int of A. Right? Right. So this is the understanding. Now, this was about integer, float, string, different combinations, complex, right? Now, let's try to look at one more interesting thing. We had learned about A is equals to true, this Boolean value. Do you guys remember this? Boolean, right? Boolean, right? Right. Python understands, Python understands true as 1, false as 0. And how can I prove it? I will prove it very simple way. First, what I will do, just show you true minus true. What will happen, guys? 1 minus 1, see, 0. True minus false, true minus false. 1 minus 0, that is 1. Now, interestingly, again this will be proved if you just write bool of 1. See, true. If you write bool of 0, what will happen, guys? False. Is it clear? Right? Yes or no? Right? Yes or no? Quickly, everyone. Yes. So far, so good. Right? Now, one more interesting thing. If I write bool of Ajay, what will happen in this case, guys? What will happen in this case? If I write bull of Ajay, what will happen in this case? Anyone? See, true. Now, one more interesting thing. Let's say if you write bull of none. In this case, what will happen? This is practice, guys. Practice. See, false. Right. 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 Understood, everyone? Yes or no? Everyone now? Is it clear? Right. Right. Now, few guidelines. Right. Few guidelines. Right. So already we have seen, to summarize till now. First, variables can only start with underscore and string. Already we have seen this. Second thing was, don't use keywords as variable name. Python example, guys, do you remember that? Variable name. Third thing, Python is a case sensitive language. Case sensitive language. What is the meaning of this language? Right. What is the meaning of this? So for example, let's say a is equals to 5. If you write a is equals to 5 and try to access this 5 using capital A, it will throw an error. Name A is not defined. Right. So A and A, this A and this A is different. Both of them are different things. Right. Now, guys, till now, what we have seen, we have tried to learn alphabets and words. We learned alphabets like 1, 2, 3, integer, float. Words, like we have learned about what are different data types, complex, right? List, string, we have not discussed. We'll be discussing in the next, upcoming lectures. Now, few more things about Python, right? So let's say you have used print statement, right? So can I print something like this? Print 2, 3, 4. Can I do so? See here. Yes, you can print like this. Now, if I want to write print A, let's say, here I will just write A is equals to 2, B is equals to 3. Can I print something like this? A and B? The answer is yes, 2, 3. But have you observed one thing? By default, there is a space between them. Yes or no? Everyone. What do you see? By default, it has some space. Now, what can you do? So inside the bracket, just hit Shift and Tab. So when you hit Shift and Tab, you will get to know the description about this print function. Any function inside that, Shift and Tab. See, this is called as docstring. This is the docstring. So print the values, right? And if you see here, separator is a blank space, right? So by default, I will just write by default separator is equals to, separator is blank space. The moment you write something like this, print A comma B, and then here you can just write separator is equals to, let's say this time instead of blank space, write has. See here, 2 has 3. Right? Again, let's say print here separator is equals to, let's say something like this. See here, 2 underscore display. One more thing, let's say you write here print A, then again you write print B, right? Print B. And what happens, guys, in this case? So if you just execute this, you get to see 2 and 3, right, in a different line. What? Again, there is another parameter, that is Shift and Tab. Here and is equals to backward slash and. What is backward slash and? We'll read this in string. This is called as escape character. Escape character means a new line. So this means a new line. This is the understanding. Now, last thing of the day, that is whatever you have written. You have written something on your own. But last thing of the day is something how to right, how to take inputs from a user. Take inputs from the user. How can you do so? How can you do so? How can you do so? How can you take input from the integer? So what happens, guys? These days in industry or whatever you do, if you open a form, right? You don't, you what do you do? Enter your name, you input your name, right? So in variety of application, you have to take the input. So how can you take the input? So for that, you have a Python keyword input. So let's say here, enter a number, enter a number, enter a number. Till now, you were just defining the variable. So now if you write enter a number, see here, enter a number, you will just write 5. 5. So this is your 5. Right. So A is equals to enter a number. So let's say B is equals to input another number, another number, another number, another number. So now input is another number. For example, let's say. So again, right. Now print A plus B. A plus B. So what will be the answer, guys? Let's say here I will execute. A is 5, B is 6. What will be the answer, guys? Everyone? 5 plus 6, 11. Very good. I'm really proud of you guys. 5 plus 6 will be 11. Very good. So 5 plus 6 here will give you 56. Why? There is a reason behind it. That's why I asked this question. In the interview, this will be asked. Because by default, by default, by default, here in this case, A is, by default, A is giving you a string or input gives you, input takes values as a string, right? But now if you have to add, so here it becomes a string concatenation that we will be seeing in the next lecture. But in this case now what you can do? How to add? So here again, this is the real application of typecasting. So you can just typecast things. So here you will put int here, and this will be your value int, and then again int here in this case. And now if you will print, see here, 3, 4, then 3 plus 4 is 7. So this is the way to take input from the integer. This is the understanding. Is it clear, everyone? So far, so good. Right. Yes or no? So if you have to summarize now, we started with programming language, how to learn, why, right? Then we moved to Python. Then we talked about different basic syntax, data types, Python, what is literal, what is value, literal value same, what is variables, what is identifier, both are same, what is a variable, how a memory block is created. We will see that again in detail in the upcoming lectures, right? These are all things about today's lecture. One more thing. So what I told you, A is equals to 3, right? So this 3 is literal, right? 3 is literal, literal, or also called as value. So there are different varieties of literals as well. So different kinds of literal, different kinds of literal. You don't need to worry about that. You don't need to remember, right? First, integer. In integer, you have multiple types of literals. First is binary, binary. Then you have decimal, decimal. Then you have octal, octal literals. Then you have hexadecimal, hexadecimal, right? Then for float, we have normal float, float. Then we have big scientific float, or let's say scientific number, scientific number, scientific number. That is, one is big, big number, and another is scientific small number. Scientific small number, scientific number, that is small, small, right? Small. Right. And then finally, the third one is literals. Sorry, third literal is complex number. Already we have seen, but these are different format. In integer, you have binary. In 0, 1 format, you can just see zero format. Binary number format is something like this. You just write 0b. 0b means b means binary. We'll be seeing at a later stage. Don't need to worry about that. 0b 10. So if you just write here, a is equals to 0b 10, 0b, I don't know, b 10, and then just write a. You will see that as it is 2, right? When if you just wrote here 0b 10, it will give you 2. It should give you. It should give you 2, right? So this is a binary representation of a number. So this is called as binary literal. Right? There is decimal literal as well. Simply you write b equals to 100.2, something like this. So you will get some values like this. There is some octal literal. So what is octal literal? So c is equals to, let's say, 0, and here you write small o, octal, then write 300. So let's say c. So this is your octal literal. Right? This is 192. There will be some hexadecimal literal. So here you can just write 0, right? So 0x, right? 1 2 c, maybe let's see. So this is 300 again. So this is your hexadecimal, hexadecimal. Right? We'll talk about these things. Don't need to worry about that. This is octal literal, octal literal, and this is, let's say, decimal literal, decimal literal. Float, you already know float. What is float? So 3.2 is float, right? Big scientific notation, already you know, 2e10. So 2e to power 10 means 210 to power 10. Right? This is big. If it is small, so big scientific notation. This is scientific notation. Scientific notation of big number, of big number. And if, let's say, if you have a small number, then what you can do? 2e hyphen 10. This is a very small number, right? So this will be a small number. 2e minus 10, yes, something like this. So let's say I'll give you e this 3. Many of the time you will see, okay, yeah, now it is visible. So 2e 0.02. Right? This is a very small number. Complex literal, already you know. So scientific notation of a small number, very small number. Scientific notation of a small number, notation of a small number. You don't need to remember these things. This is just to complete everything. Nothing is left. And this complex 3 plus 5j. So 3 plus 5j, this is your complex. Right. So you don't need to remember these things. This will come with practice. Right. So there are other also. For example, in hexadecimal, you can represent smileys, emojis as well. Right. We'll be seeing that at a stage in strings. We'll be seeing that. Right. So this was all about this, but we have interview questions as well. So what are interview questions that we have seen till now? Right. First question: what is static slash dynamic typing? Typing. What is the difference between them? This is the first question that can be asked. Second, what is dynamic binding? Dynamic binding. This is the second question that can be asked. Dynamic. Third question, right? If someone goes in very basics, what is a programming language? What is a programming language? Right, right. And which is the fastest programming language? Fastest programming language. Programming language. Right. Extra mile. Right. Few things that you guys should explore. Extra mile. Right. You guys should explore. Right. Which is more faster? Which is more faster? Which is faster? Compiled language, compiled language, or interpreted language? Interpreted language. Right. These you guys should try to explore. Very important, and I hope you guys uh, try to understand this, learn this. Right. Why? Why also? Try to figure it out. Any other question? I don't think extra mile I can give till here. Yeah. This would be all for this lecture, guys. Now it's your turn. If you have any suggestions, if you have any feedbacks, please do let me know. Do you guys have any questions to ask? Everyone, do you have guys have any suggestions or any comments? Please go ahead. Someone is saying, please create a group. Already, guys, you guys should be knowing that in one thing I will be also talking about this. Right. So, new coordinator, right. Right. So when's how to access the class and all, right? Uh, so always remember, guys. Okay, you can access on your account on app with only 5 devices. First of all, guys, this is the problem that everyone is facing many of the time. Please don't actually log in into multiple browsers. Please don't do that. Right. First, second, there will be always on the top the upcoming classes. You will be always looking at the notification. You will also receive an email of the classes. Right. Right. Third thing, there is already a discussion tab. That is what I wanted to show you. So you can just whatever comments you have, you can discuss there itself. You can ask questions, right? And I will help you out, guys. Regarding WhatsApp group, I have to think it. I will think it, and at a later stage, I will check if I can make it or not. Okay. Anyone else has any other questions? Please go ahead. No, Mukul, no difference in that. Komal says, I want to ask, I am using Jupyter Notebook in VS Code. It is also good. It is okay. VS Code has recently started with Jupyter Notebook. So it's okay. Anyone has any other questions, please go ahead. Data science, Vandana says, is help also a keyword? So help is actually, you can consider that as also a predefined keyword. Other questions, anyone? Anyone has any suggestions, any feedback about today's teaching? Did you guys didn't like it or liked it? Right. Did you guys understood everything? Sada says amazing session. Yes. Right. Where is binary? Binary is used at a lot of places. Hexagon, the numbers are represented is that. Rishabh says loved it and always. Very good, Rishabh. Thank you. It was really so good, sir. Sir, can you explain length is power line 50%? What you are asking, Jyoti, I didn't understood. Yes, e to power some value is the power. Yes, Jyoti. Right. He has pasted something. What is choose? Change the installation path. Right. Isara says it was really good, sir. Right. Anyone else has any other questions? Please go ahead. Okay. Very good. That would be all, guys, for today's lecture. In tomorrow's lecture, we are going to see operators, conditionals. Right? Thank you, everyone. Rajkumar says session was fantastic. Very good. Notes will be uploaded, so don't worry about that. Right. Right. Sajil says no matter how much time we learn the same topic, you make it more interesting. Great, Sajil. Yes, Rutvik, I will be sharing today's Jupyter notebook. Don't worry about that. Anyone has any questions? I will make a short video how to access the, you know, how to open the dashboard, how to access the class, everything I will be making. I'm thinking because few people are smart enough to figure it out, but few people are not able to find out. So I will be looking at it. Right. Survey says, thank you, sir. Great session. Any suggestions, any feedback, please do let me know. Regarding WhatsApp group, I will take care of that. Let me see what I can do. I will make a WhatsApp group, but you guys have to promise that there will be no any external students, right? Only the students who have joined the course will be the part of that. Because anyway, that will be a closed group, right? Okay. Thank you, everyone. We will see it. We will meet in the next class. Thank you. Bye bye.